Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
This is the most important person in the Trump administration that you've probably never heard of. At least until the president posted this.
Russ Vought is the reaper. He wields a pen, the fun's in the brain. Here comes the reaper.
Join us now, Russ Vought.
Russ Vought.
Russell Vought, director of the Office.
I tell people when Russ Vought speaks, it's like a papal bull. You should pay attention.
He's more than just Donald Trump's budget guru.
He has two very clear goals: to make the presidency as powerful as it's ever been, and to dismantle as much of the federal bureaucracy as he can.
People have referred to him as the shadow president. I'm Andy Kroll. I'm an investigative reporter for ProPublica. I've been covering politics and government in Washington for almost 16 years. I had heard the name Russ Vought, but he was always just slightly outside the field of vision. And then I got my hands on this video.
We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected. When they wake up in the morning, we want them to not want to go to work.
He talks about this goal of wanting to traumatize federal workers.
We want to put them in trauma.
That just planted this seed in my mind that I had to try to figure out who this person is.
He declared
Transgender sewage that's being pumped into our schools and institutions.
A border invasion furthering, quite frankly, a reverse colonization.
We're actually trying to save the country.
Those recordings really help me understand his evolution from this numbers wonk to a full-fledged leader of the MAGA movement.
One of the key authors of Project 2025, Russell Vought,
told the reporters that Trump would deploy the military to silence the unrest.
I think you have to rehabilitate Christian nationalism. You have the largest deportation in history, block funding for Planned Parenthood. I want to be the person that crushes the deep state.
Yeah, I called for trauma within the bureaucracies. The bureaucracies hate the American people.
He really has a vision to change the direction of American history.
We must do our duty for the course of this country, quite frankly, for the course of Western civilization, and for the course of history.
Vote.
Oh boy. All right, hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Quadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, of whom I learn from each and every day. Healthy shalom to the 144,000 mighty men would be judges on this earth as it is in heaven, as the scriptures say. Okay? Also to the speckled bird, the ones that's going to come looking like other nations that in fact are Israelites. And if you can't see it, Yahweh Shem Yahshua not dealing with you. If you can't see that, if you can't get past some dumbass skin color, man, the spirit, he's just not dealing with you, man. And that's that. Anyhow, that's sort of a long intro there, and fair use. But that was a video that I saw earlier today from a guy. I think it's called Specular Talk, something like that. He does his online thing or whatnot. Okay, talking about the shadow president. Now, if you'll pay attention, you gotta really look and see exactly the dog whistles and what exactly these people are saying. All right, and so you got this guy Russ, I forget what his last name is, Russ something. All right, and they all have the same talking points. Matter of fact, the right and the left have the exact same talking points. It's a conspiracy, okay? But ultimately it's prophecy. Now, you can go to the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter, and it'll tell you that all these nations, it doesn't matter, whether it be right or left, they're two wings of the same damn eagle, right? That all these nations were confederate against thee. They said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. They're also the accuser of the brethren, okay? So you got, hey, look, you got these Edomites especially on the right, saying we got to get back to what America was created for in the first place, and all this. And really, it's just white supremacy dog whistles. That's all it is. That's why the scripture said he's going to come in like a flood. And the right and the left are very... The left is subtly pushing it. The right is pushing it right out in the open, which is civil war, which is written about in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, 9th chapter, 16th chapter, sedition among men, all these different things. Okay? And look, go back and watch both of those videos. There's that one video is called The Shadow President. Okay? And then there's another video that I'm going to put in here with C.J. Warleman. All right? And you got to watch all that too. With the rabbis talking about Esau is Christianity, but then they ain't nowhere in the scriptures that said Babylon and Israelites are going to be in league with each other. The shit makes zero sense whatsoever, And by the way, if you bring up Ezekiel the 36th chapter, they're going to run from that. So let's go here. They're going by the precepts of men and what has worked for them. The scripture said in Isaiah the 47th chapter, stand now with thy enchantments, man. It's all a bunch of bullshit. They can't back up anything biblically. All they do is filibuster and lie. See? This is Psalms 118, verse 8. It is better to trust in the Lord Yahweh than to put confidence in man. See that? Verse 9, it is better to trust in the Lord Yahweh than to put confidence in princes. Verse 10, and it reads, all nations compass me about, but in the name of the Lord Yahweh, that's his name, I will destroy them. You see that? And the scripture said, and I pray daily to live to see the downfall of my enemies. He told us that he's going to put all these curses upon our enemies. We see it. We see exactly what's going on. See? Hey, just continue, man. Let's go. Let's get it. All right. Verse 11, they compassed me about. Yea, they compassed me about. But in the name of the Lord Yahweh, I will destroy them. You hear that? He said it twice. Okay. They compass me about like bees. All right. And if you look, I've been stung. I think I got stung 40 times. Once messing around with a bee's nest I didn't know was there or whatever. And let me tell you what, man, hey, they get all over your ass and they get all over your ass. All right? I'm just saying. So let me read that again and put that in your mind's eye. If you ever been stung more than one time, it ain't no joke. See? Where's that here? Yep. Verse 12, they compass me about like bees. They are quenched as the fire of thorns. For in the name of the Lord Yahweh, our power, I will destroy them. That's beautiful. Okay? See, they trust in their own consent. Now, if you did I play that yet? Let's go. Heritage Foundation. I may just stick it in there. And what this guy, Russ, I forget what his last name is, whatever, the shadow president, if you will. All right. They have this thing called the Heritage Foundation. Here, I think I pulled it up. Yeah. The view of the Heritage Action Scorecard, fighting for America's future. Let's read this. Check this out. Listen closely. All right. Because this is a foundation that, what the dude in the video was talking about is a right-wing think tank, right? All right. We are committed to restoring human flourishing through self-governance for all American and champion the policies that get us there. And what are their policies? You seeing chaos in the streets. You seeing a Gestapo, a private army. You seeing Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom Jakes being slain in the middle of the street. Okay? And it's going to get worse. Jacob's trouble is upon us. So right there it said self-governance. That's the precepts of men. That's America's way. Do as thou wilt. See? But the scripture didn't say that. Man's goings is of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? Joshua 1 and verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, and thou mayest to observe to do all that is according that is written therein, for thou shalt make thy ways prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. You see, these Edomites, their success is coming off of being given the earth. Job 9 and verse 24. But then they claim to be this and they claim to be that, and they're none of it. They're a bunch of damn devils. You see? This is Mark 7 verse 7, red letters. Our big brother, Lord Yahweh Shai, is speaking. Howbeit, in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Did you hear that? Hear that, Israel? What? The commandments of men, for laying aside the commandment of the Most High power, ye hold the tradition of men as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things ye do. Okay? So they're not going according to the book of the law. They're not meditating in the book of the law. They got their own shit going. As a matter of fact, Amalek, the head tribe of the Edomites, has got their own damn book. That's clean contrary to the scriptures. And in fact, it's downright disgusting. Vile. Matthew 15, verse 7, ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, what did he say? Saying, this people draw nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. There it is. You see? All right. Another clip.
The sort of long-standing conservative think tank. And he becomes basically the chief antagonist of his own party.
Let's give him a warm welcome. Russ Vought.
We believe that every member of Congress needs congressional accountability, whether they're the best or the worst member of Congress.
You should not fund and pay for Obamacare.
It's hurting the American economy.
Fund government, but not Obamacare.
At midnight last night, for the first time in 17 years, Republicans in Congress chose to shut down the federal government.
He is very much a creature of the swamp, someone who knows the federal budget inside and out. He has really passionate feelings about the House Rules Committee, yet he comes around to this notion that we need to stir people at the grassroots and make that change flow up.
Never wanted to leave the fight, and really until Donald Trump becomes elected, and then you have an opportunity for paradigm-shifting work.
The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action.
There was a scramble to try to get people to go into these key jobs, and getting people to go to the Office of Management and Budget is a crucial role. A lot of what they're doing right now at such a rapid clip, they tried to do during Trump's first administration. Every dollar that Congress approved to fund the government, OMB controls the flow of that money. If you were to pick the one place in the federal government to go where you could put a kink in the hose and bring everything to a stop, OMB is basically the only place where you could do that. But Congress has the power of the purse. And there is even a law that says the president cannot, quote unquote, impound, to use the legal jargon term, cannot freeze lawfully approved money just because the White House disagrees with it. The state of the country. He sees quite a darkened landscape.
The FBI has been weaponized. Critical race theory is state-sanctioned racism. And what they're doing in our schools and pushing gender-affirming care is chemical castration.
In 2022, his organization, Center for Renewing America, hosts this gala at, of course, Mar-a-Lago. President Trump is there, giving Vought's operation his imprimatur in media appearances and briefing calls with his supporters. Vought is very vocal in a way that he just wasn't at any point earlier in his career about what he sees as being wrong with America.
So we believe that we have become too secular, not just overall in the country, but on the right. Our elites have lost the consensus that we're a Judeo-Christian nation.
And so this new project is not only about taking on critical race theory or raising awareness among the grassroots about the weaponization of government. But he's also seeding this deeper notion that America is basically losing sight of what it actually was meant to be.
I have no problem if it's properly understood when someone calls me a Christian nationalist. I reject when they're trying to use a dog whistle, when they're trying to say it's a fascist and all that nonsense. But should we lean into this?
Unlike most pejoratives, it describes something that's true. We are Christians who are nationalists. We are people who believe that we have a Christian nation. Right now, churches have all of this talk about love your neighbor, and they don't have any ability to say, no, we do not want that group of refuge coming from that country that is dominated by Sharia law. We don't want.
He takes his vision, his plan, his ideas straight to the grassroots.
Honor all the work that Russell Vogt has been doing. Those Thursday calls, I look forward to every week.
He has this weekly briefing call with anyone who is a supporter who wants to tune in.
We have largely failed to turn back the overwhelming tide of government.
These recordings really give you a view into the way he thinks about strategy.
So when you're watching television and the words woke and weaponized come out of a politician's mouth, you can know that that's coming in from this call, that's coming from the strategies that we're putting out and trying to shape the narrative.
He had success.
All right, hey, I got to stop it there. Look, what did he say? Very, very plainly, what did he say? Trying to shape the narrative. Trying to shape the narrative. This is what Esau Edom does. Also, he went into Judeo-Christian nation. So let's go there. Let's look this up. What's the definition of this? Who are the Judeo-Christians? What do they believe? Let's see. I want it in the dictionary here. Adjective, Slovakia. Judeo-Christian. You see, you got Christ. You already know what that is. All right. Having historical roots in both Judaism and Christianity. Uh-oh. Did you hear that? Both what? Judaism and Christianity. But, hey, but what do you have? You have Esau Edom, or Slovakia, let me call it right. You got Amalek saying that Christianity is Esau. Okay? You've got Amalek saying that Christianity is Esau, and what they're not telling anybody is the fact that they themselves are the head tribe of the Edomites. I got receipts on that.
And now sharing this meme on social media, saying they were MAGA until it became MEGA, an acronym for Make Israel Great Again.
What influence does Israel have on our country?
Israel's controlling.
How much influence does Israel have on our country?
Israel's controlling our government.
Israel controls us.
Israel is in control of our government.
The government of Israel controls the United States.
Israel has run American foreign policy for 30 years.
It feels like we're just owned by Israel. We just never knew it.
Is the United States government now just taking edicts and orders from Israel?
Israel first.
Israel first. Israel first. This really is an Israel first administration.
American Christians are certainly in no mood to give Israel any assistance whatsoever, now that they have learnt Palestinian Christians suffer the same fate as Palestinian Muslims under Zionist occupation.
There were no weapons or anything in the church. Children are missing. We can't find them. We're still unable to find them. There are no Christians left. I was in the church, and all those who were in the church were Christians. Enough is enough. We are really tired.
The Church of St. Porphyrius has a history dating back 1600 years. Located in Gaza's old city, it's only a couple of 100 meters away from Gaza's Baptist Hospital, which suffered a separate strike just days ago, killing hundreds.
I am a Christian in Gaza! You are impossible involved in Gaza! I am a Christian in Gaza and Muslim in Gaza!
Tucker starting wars in the Middle East and then duping their Christian slaves to clean up its mess.
The origins of Christianity and how it wasn't an accident, but it was a gift, possibly a mistaken gift, that Yaakov Avinu gave Esav. You will live by the sword. You will serve your brother. This is what Yitzchak tells Esav. Yitzchak tells Esav, you'll live by the sword. You'll serve your brother. Literally, that means that, the Jews will have the shul, will have the house. And if you need someone to clean it, you call one of Esav's descendants to clean it.
All right, Salakia, I got to get this. I have got to get this. All right, so, and again, that was you heard, there's a bunch of these rabbis that keep saying that Christianity is Esau, right? Which is Esau, and what he's saying is, what he was quoting was Genesis 27 and verse 40, but what he said, what does that mean? Is we're going to get, we're going to get our brother. So you got Amalek calling Christianity their brother to clean up the house. But that's not what that means. Let's get the real true meaning behind this. Let's get the 100% truth. These devils are lying. All right. And he clearly just talked about Esau and Jacob, which are mortal enemies from the beginning, from Genesis 25 and 25. You remember when Jacob's hand betwixt the heel of Esau, Edom. And again, what they're not telling you is that they are Edomites. They are Amalek. Genesis 27 and verse 40, and by the sword shalt thou live. What is a sword? It's a weapon. And shall serve thy brother. That means he's going to unalive all the Jakes, and he's doing it right in front of your eyes right now. See? And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So what that rabbi just said was an out and out fucking lie. All right? They know who we are. They know who they are. Look no further than the book of Deuteronomy 28th chapter. All these things are happening. All right. So, hey, I'm going to close out right here, but you got to pay attention to what's going on, because all this is correlating and winding up to what? The MOTB. One of the last prophecies to happen. Jacob's trouble's coming about us. All these so-called benefits are getting cut off. They're cutting off everything. And by the way, that guy Russ of Vin, whatever the hell his name was, hey, he championed Project 2025. He's the really the head of Doge. All right, those Doge cuts. That they just needed a talking head, man. Elon Musk was just a talking head. That's all. He was running around the White House higher than a kite, on 20 pills a day. So you got to pay attention to what's going on. It's problems and solution. What is it? A problem? How does it go? Problem, solution? Damn it, I don't know. It slipped my mind. All right? But this is prophecy, and this is exactly what's going on right now. Revelation 13 and verse 16. And he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive an MARK in their right hand or in their foreheads. And what's going to happen? You got to think about this. What's going to happen when suddenly the storehouses are empty? When suddenly there's sedition among men, invading one another, people stealing each other's food, whatever, whatever. All kinds of craziness going on. Your wife's ravished, children dashed to pieces before your eyes, and then all of a sudden, we got a solution. All you gotta do is put this under your skin. Think about how many people is just gonna fall right into it. You see? Salakia. Keep going. Oh yeah, I was right here at it. Okay, verse 17, it reads, and that no man might buy or sell. For some reason, people can't answer that question when they're going, well, the MOTB is. It's not a C-hip. Well, of course it is. Apostle Tahar, the elect man of the prize. It was Isaiah 4 and verse 1. All right, that no man might buy or sell, save he have the M-A-R-K or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Simple and plain. That's what it's all boiling down to, man. The persecution of the Israelites, and it's going to get worse. Jacob said, the scripture said, Jacob's trouble is the worst thing ever to happen on the planet. Okay? So, hey, get ready. Get ready. And that's that. Hopefully this lesson was edifying, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.